Somewhere between midnight and mayhem, Cardi B logged onto Instagram Live with her hair half done, her patience half gone, and a brand new single loaded in the chamber. Within 90 seconds, she had named a mystery woman, taunted an entire lineup of doubters, teased a surprise studio visit, and casually accused half the industry of doing horse tranquilizer-grade substances on camera. And she did it all while pretending she was just chatting. Nobody chats like this. Nobody. This was a controlled demolition dressed up as small talk, and if you blinked you missed the fuse. So sit down, lock the door, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, and let me walk you through the loudest 4 minutes hip-hop has produced this entire summer. Because what Cardi B said, who she said it to, and what she deliberately refused to say is the exact reason the algorithm has been on fire since the sun came up over New York. The setup, if you have not been living inside the Cardi gang timeline, is simple. On July 31st, 2026, Cardi B unleashed her first single of the year. The razor-edged bass Grenade the Streets Are Calling, aha. It landed at midnight Eastern with the kind of impact only a Bronx-born superstar can engineer, and within hours the internet was pulling apart every syllable, every ad-lib, every bar for hidden targets. Because Cardi B does not just drop songs. She drops indictments with a beat under them. She drops receipts disguised as choruses. She drops entire courtroom transcripts wrapped in 8 bars and a hook. And aha was clearly, unmistakably, gleefully aimed at someone. Or several someones. And the second Cardi B went live to celebrate the release, the whole city held its breath and every gossip page in the country loaded their screen recorders at the same time. She opened the way she always opens, half in on the joke, half in the war room. I can't show you all my hairdo. She said it twice. Like a spell. Like a taunt. Like a lure. Because that little line, that innocent little line about her hair, turned out to be the entire trapdoor of the broadcast. Somewhere out there, a woman had apparently claimed to have seen Cardi B in public earlier that day. Somewhere out there, a woman had run her mouth to the wrong microphone at the wrong hour. And Cardi B, sitting there with her camera tilted just right, her lipstick barely smudged, her ring light glowing like a courtroom lamp, was about to burn that woman's story to the ground on live television. She just needed the audience to lean in first. And the audience leaned. Hard. "What is popping, y'all?" she said, half laughing. "How everybody doing?" And then, without a beat, without a warning, without so much as a breath, she pivoted. "Felicia," she said, "we saw your hair." And the world tilted. Now understand what just happened. Cardi B did not name a real person. She did not have to. Felicia is the universal placeholder for the woman who ran her mouth one too many times, and every single person watching that stream instantly filled in their own guess. Was it a Love and Hip Hop alumna? Was it one of the podcast girls? Was it somebody from the old Instagram model bench? Was it a certain reality TV veteran with a grudge? Was it, and this is where the internet lost its collective mind, was it someone tied to the Stefon Diggs situation? Was it someone still orbiting Offset? Cardi B did not say. She never says. She lets the crowd do the tagging for her, and by sunrise the guesses had already trended on 3 different platforms across 2 different continents. But Cardi B was not done. She flipped the accusation with a surgeon's grip. "How you saw my hair?" "The only way you saw my hair is if you was outside Washington Heights. Because I was in Washington Heights today. And there it was. The location drop. The receipt. The mic drop dressed up as a shrug." If Felicia had really seen her, then Felicia was following her, and following her does not sound like a bystander, it sounds like a stalker. In one sentence, Cardi B had converted the accuser into the accused. In one sentence, the entire moral geometry of the beef had flipped. That is not gossip. That is chess. That is somebody who has been running Instagram Live longer than most rookies have been running careers. And then she stacked the social proof. Spinking hit me up. Another couple of DJs hit me up. All my friends hit me up. Lillian is FaceTiming me in the club. T-Star called me in the club. Everybody is calling me. Notice the latter. She did not say fans loved it. She said the industry loved it. She named DJs. She named tastemakers. She named the exact behind-the-glass players whose approval turns a single into a hit. She said her phone had been ringing off the hook from the exact people whose cosign moves the club charts. It was not a brag. It was evidence. And she delivered it in the tone of a woman who was not even asking you to believe her. She was just letting you catch up. Then came the whiplash. Because right when the audience was expecting Cardi B to rain down more fire on the mystery woman, she softened. "I was going to go outside tomorrow," she said, "but I think I'm going to throw a party next week. I got a lot of work to do. I want to make sure my voice is straight. Everything is straight. I got to work. That right there is the maneuver most amateurs miss. She built a peak. She planted a promise. She gave you a reason to come back next week. The party is the hook. The party is the sequel. And every single person on that stream mentally bookmarked it, because when Cardi B says she is throwing something, she means it, and when she means it, the city shuts down for it. Ask anybody who was on West 159th and Amsterdam a few weeks ago what happens when Cardi B says she is showing up somewhere. Traffic dies. Time stops. The block belongs to her. But this is where the broadcast tilted sideways again. Cardi B started reciting her own lyrics like she was still in the booth. Who had his knees as well? I'm trying to figure out. She let the line hang. She let it breathe. She let every timeline detective in America start drafting theories. Because who had his knees is not a random bar. It is a targeted question about a man, and the internet immediately began the process of matching a name to the injury. Was it a rapper? Was it an athlete? Was it, and I mean this seriously, was it a certain wide receiver who has been at the center of every Cardi B headline for the last 6 months? She did not confirm. She never confirms. She just kept talking, and every word she did not say became a bigger question mark than the words she did. Then came the second reprise. Throw a 40 while I almost knock AB out. I push away AB on 4, I'm having a fit. Facts. All these, but these ain't nothing to brag about. For real. Watch that pivot. She recites the barbed bar and then downplays it. That is not modesty. That is what a champion does after they knock somebody out. They walk away shrugging, drying their gloves, checking their nails. The message is simple. I have not even tried yet. I have not even reached for the real ammunition. This was just the warm-up. This was the amuse-bouche before the actual meal. And if you thought aha was the finished sentence, wait until you hear what comes next. By this point in the broadcast, the comment section was moving faster than the eye could track. Fans were dropping heart emojis. Rival fan bases were dropping crying laughing emojis. Rapper girlfriends were dropping the popcorn. Podcast producers were dropping notes into their production slacks. And Cardi B, sensing the temperature, decided to do the one thing that always confuses her critics. She went domestic. You see Yancy play? Yeah, that's I don't even like calling her Yancy. I don't even feel like she's my auntie. I feel like she's my cousin. Yancy's really like my cousin. I love her down. That is Yandy Smith. Longtime love and hip-hop matriarch, industry mother figure, and now, publicly, on record, on live, Cardi B's declared cousin. Do you see what that just did? In one soft-spoken paragraph, Cardi B just re-anchored herself inside the deepest, most legacy-rich family tree in New York hip-hop. Yandy is not a fair-weather friend. Yandy is not a clout play. Yandy is what people in this business call a real one, and by publicly declaring her cousin status, Cardi B did two things at once. She reminded the doubters that her network is generational, and she softened her own image after 4 minutes of controlled aggression. This is the sympathy pivot in real time. This is the reason her audience never gets fatigued. She hits, she softens, she hits again. She weaponizes tenderness the same way other rappers weaponize threats. She lets you exhale for 2 seconds, and then she knocks the wind right back out of you. And she hit again. God, did she hit again? Because right when the audience was smiling at the Yandy love, right when the temperature had come back down to a warm hum, Cardi B dropped the sentence that has been ricocheting across every group chat in the country for 24 hours straight. You're laughing, she said. But no. These are really doing horse tranquilizers type out here. I swear to God. Look it up. And she said it like it was nothing. Like she was reading a weather report. Like she was reporting the news, and the news happened to be that a portion of her opposition, the people running their mouths about her, the people trying to compete with her sound, the people supposedly seeing her in Washington Heights, were doing substances so extreme that comparing them to horse sedatives was, in her words, generous. She did not name anyone. She did not have to. Because the same audience that was already tagging Felicia in the comments now had a second, much darker theory to run through the ringer. Now understand something. This is Cardi B on live. This is not Cardi B in an interview. There is no publicist. There is no editor. There is no cleanup crew. When Cardi B says something on Live, it enters the public record as spoken testimony from one of the highest-selling female rappers in modern hip-hop history. And when she casually claims that some of her rivals are on veterinary-strength sedatives, the industry hears her. Every publicist in Manhattan heard her. Every rival's manager heard her. Every gossip account with a phone and a screen recorder heard her. Every legal team on retainer heard her. By sunrise, the clip was cut. By noon, the clip was captioned. By afternoon, the clip had been meme-feed into 6 languages. By evening, the clip had made it onto 3 morning shows and half a dozen podcast panels. And nobody has been able to figure out for sure who she meant. Which is exactly, precisely, expertly the point. Because here is what people miss about the way Cardi B works. She does not leak. She hints. She does not accuse. She frames. She does not need to name the person because she trusts her audience to name them for her. And the second the audience does the naming, she gets all the impact of an accusation with none of the legal exposure of one. That is not luck. That is craft. That is a woman who has been building a rhetorical style since Instagram Live was invented and who now operates it like a professional broadcaster with a gospel-level command of pacing. The horse tranquilizer line is the moment this segment cracked wide open, because it was not just a diss, it was an insinuation of decline. It was Cardi B looking around at her competition and telling the world, in plain English, that her rivals are not in the shape they claim to be. It was a diagnosis dressed up as a joke. It was a coroner's report before the funeral had even been announced. And then, right on cue, she smoothed it out. "All right, y'all," she said, in that half-tired, half-triumphant voice. "So I'll talk to y'all later. Bye." She waved. She smiled. She logged off. And the door slammed shut. But the story did not slam shut with it, because within 30 seconds the clips were live, and within an hour every corner of the internet was doing forensic reconstruction. Barty gang pages ran the audio through slow mo. Rival stan accounts tried to argue she was talking about them. TikTok analysts split the audio and mapped the timeline. X, turned the whole broadcast into a real-time crime scene. And the biggest fan theory of the day, the theory that has by far the most traction as of this recording, is that Aha is not just a summer anthem. It is a coordinated multi-front strike against every single person who has been running their mouth about Cardi B since the divorce paperwork with Offset first hit the record last year. The lyrics, the live, the pop-up in Washington Heights, the DJs on speed dial, the Yandy Smith cosign, the Lil Kim tour page tag. This is not a rollout. This is a campaign. This is a full-spectrum, multi-platform, precision-engineered campaign, and every element locks into every other element like a rifle scope onto a barrel. Let me walk you through the anatomy of that campaign, because it deserves to be understood. Because months ago, when the whispers first started that Cardi B was moving on from Offset, the same names always came up. Stefon Diggs, the NFL wide receiver who was seen with her in Miami, in New York, in yachts and studios and courtside seats. Offset himself, who released a track called No Sweat late last year that took some of the most surgical lyrical shots we have ever heard aimed at both Cardi B and Diggs. And then a rotating cast of side characters, bloggers, podcast girls, industry ex-friends, alleged mistresses, alleged co-parents, ex-stylists, former glam team defectors, all orbiting the same story like moths around a bathroom bulb. Cardi B never publicly took the bait. She never posted a paragraph. She never went on a podcast tour. She never sat down for a tearful sit-down with a red carpet interviewer. Instead, she went to work. She dropped Am I the Drama as an album statement. She dropped Imaginary Players as a message in a bottle. She dropped Like What as a freestyle warning shot. And then, when the world had almost caught its breath, she dropped Aha, a single so structurally aggressive that even her staunchest critics have quietly admitted it slaps. And it is inside that single that the Who Had His Knees bar is buried. It is inside that single that the Push Away A Be On 4 bar is buried. It is inside that single that the taunt that lit the whole live stream on fire is buried. So when Cardi B laughs on IG Live and says, "You think it's funny? You think it's funny" is out now, she is not repeating a hook. She is announcing a verdict. She is reading a sentence into the record. She is playing judge, jury, and executioner in the exact same 3 minutes. And here is where the Felicia reveal starts to make gruesome, hilarious sense. Because Felicia, in the Cardi B lexicon, is the woman who thought she was clever. Felicia is the woman who thought she got a shot in. Felicia is the woman who spent the last 6 months hinting on her own live streams, dropping crumbs on her own podcasts, giving little smug interviews about Cardi's marriage, Cardi's business, Cardi's kids, culture, wave, and baby blossom. All of whom Cardi B has fiercely walled off from the internet. Felicia thought she had the last word. And now the whole world is watching Cardi B look directly into a phone camera and tell Felicia, without ever saying her real name, that the world can see her, that Washington Heights is a real neighborhood with real eyes, that is playing in the exact clubs Felicia wishes she could get into, and that if Felicia thinks any of this is funny, the song is already out. That is character assassination as choreography. That is the reason Cardi B has now spent nearly a decade at the top of a genre that eats its stars alive. She does not argue. She does not explain. She sets a scene, she names a placeholder, she flips the accusation, and she moves on. Amateurs punch back. Cardi B builds a stage and lets the punch throw itself. Amateurs write essays. Cardi B writes hooks. Amateurs sit for interviews. Cardi B sits for live. And every single time the format itself does the work for her because she has spent so many years quietly perfecting how she looks, sounds, and lands inside a phone camera at 11:47 at night. But there is one more layer nobody in the coverage has fully clocked yet, and this is where the story turns from tabloid arithmetic into strategy. Because right in the middle of the live, right in between the Felicia knockdown and the horse tranquilizer detonation, Cardi B casually mentioned that she was going to the studio tomorrow because she wanted to surprise somebody in a couple of days. She did not say who. She did not say what kind of surprise. She just planted it. A seed. A promise. A dangling second act. And you had better believe that every A&R in New York was on the phone within 20 minutes trying to figure out which artist she was planning to link with. Was it a feature? Was it a remix? Was it a full-scale pop-up performance on the heels of the Cloud Deli event in Washington Heights that already broke the internet a few weeks back? She would not say. And that silence is the whole point. Cardi B is one of the last remaining pop stars who understands that the space between an announcement and the reveal is where the real currency lives. Everybody else is racing to fill the silence. She rents it out. Because think about how she rolled out the single itself. She teased earlier in the week. She sat on it. She let the timeline catch fire. She addressed the controversial lyric before the song was even out, going live to say, in effect, you're going to hear something on Friday, and I need to explain it to you before you misread it. And then, at midnight sharp, the record went live, and every single fan who had spent the week theorizing was suddenly holding the exact ammunition Cardi B wanted them to hold. She architected the discourse before she detonated the song. Then she went live to celebrate. Then she casually said Felicia and reset the internet. If you are writing a graduate school case study on modern celebrity marketing, this is the case study. If you are teaching a class on parasocial narrative engineering, this is chapter 1. If you are trying to figure out why one Bronx-born rapper keeps outmaneuvering an entire industry of publicists, managers, and PR firms, this is your answer. If you are a rival, and let's be clear, there is a specific rival roster we're talking about, this is a nightmare. Because there is no counter to it. You cannot rebut a shrug. You cannot dispute an You cannot make a diss track about a woman who never named you. You can only sit there and watch the DJ's Cardi B just named play her single at the same clubs your management is trying to book. And if you speak up now, you confirm you're Felicia. And if you stay silent, you confirm you're Felicia. There is no exit. There is only the song. There is only the loop. There is only the laughter that ends every hook, the shrug that lets you know she has already stopped taking you seriously and moved on to somebody else's problem. And this is why the reaction inside the industry has been so uniform. Every legitimate DJ in New York has been publicly co-signing. Every longtime Barty Gang page has been rewriting timelines. Even competitors have quietly played it in their sets. Because at a certain point, a song stops being a diss and starts being an event, and an event is not something you can boycott. In the space of one weekend, became an event. And the live she did to celebrate it, the live we've been dissecting for the last however many minutes, is now itself an artifact, replayed on every gossip channel, split into every 15-second clip, freeze-framed on every reaction thumbnail, and stitched into every commentary channel's biggest video of the week. If you have not seen it yet, you will. If you have already seen it, you will see it again. That is how deep Cardi B is inside the algorithm right now. Now let me address the specific rumor that has been dominating the comment sections all week, because I want to be careful about how we frame it. The rumor is that Cardi B and Stefon Diggs are, at minimum, still involved and, at maximum, planning something publicly official in the near future. The evidence people are pointing to is circumstantial, but suggestive: the courtside sightings, the vacation photos, the studio drops, the surprise studio visits, and now, with Cardi B saying on Live that she plans to surprise somebody in a couple of days. A wide swath of the fan base has decided that the surprise is Stefan Diggs himself. I am not confirming that. Nobody outside the actual room can confirm that. But it is worth noting that the Cardi B rollout has been extremely deliberate about placing her in the physical geography of New York, Washington Heights, Harlem, the Bronx. The geography Stefan Diggs is also actively tied to during off-season. And it is worth noting that the AHA campaign has, so far, extremely carefully avoided giving Offset any ammunition to claim visitation drama or public scandal. In other words, whatever is happening between Cardi B and Stefan Diggs is being handled by professionals. And amateurs don't get to write that story. Which brings us to Offset. Because there is one man in this constellation who has been drafting his own counter-narrative in public. Late last year, Offset dropped No Sweat, a record that contained one of the most viciously precise couplets in modern hip-hop discraft, How They Leave Jordan for Rodman. A line so barbed that even neutral fans admitted it landed. He followed with a series of interview soundbites, a series of stone-faced red carpet appearances, and a series of Instagram story hints. But the truth of the matter, and this is the truth every single insider will tell you off the record, is that Offset has been chasing the Cardi B news cycle since it began. He has been reacting to her, not the other way around. He has been posting after her, not before her. He has been answering questions she never asked. And the aha moment specifically cuts through his entire counter-strategy in a single hook. Because aha is not a response. Aha is a laugh at the response. Aha is what you say when you have already stopped taking someone seriously. And that is the reason his team is scrambling right now. Meanwhile, the streets are eating. Because whatever is happening at the celebrity tier, the fan tier has been having the summer of its life. Since the Cloud Deli pop-up in Washington Heights on West 159th and Amsterdam, the one where Cardi B casually held a full block party for the community that raised her, every single Barty Gang chapter has been operating at maximum volume. The pop-up was, by all reports, chaos in the best possible way. Traffic shut down for blocks. Fans lined up around the corner. Bodega owners were pouring free chopped cheese down the counter. Cardi B herself was reportedly warm, present, generous. She signed. She hugged. She took photos. She danced. And she gave the neighborhood the kind of unmediated superstar moment that the internet cannot manufacture. Which is a huge part of the reason AHA landed the way it landed, because Cardi B has been on the ground, in her city, all summer, and there is no version of her that reads as out of touch. She did not helicopter in from a Malibu studio to drop a summer anthem. She walked out of a bodega. She earned the block. Now let me pull you back into the live one more time, because there is a detail near the end that I promised myself I would not skip. Cardi B, in the middle of thanking her DJs, Spinking, T-Star, Lillian, all of them took a moment to specifically request that they tag her tour page, Lil Kim Miss Drama tour page, rather than her personal account. On the surface, this reads like housekeeping. Underneath, it's a nod. Lil Kim is a specific, deliberate, generational reference. She is the woman whose blueprint Cardi B has openly cited for years. She is the woman whose feuds, whose fashion, whose theatrics laid the exact groundwork on which the AHA rollout is built. And by planting Lil Kim's name inside the DJ shoutout, Cardi B did something remarkable. She reminded the culture that this is not a new tradition. This is the same tradition. She is not the first woman to torch a live stream. She is just the first one doing it with this level of algorithmic mastery. She is the first one doing it with a smartphone in her hand and a beat producer on speed dial. There is a lesson in that for anyone paying attention. The reason Cardi B keeps winning these public flashpoints is not because she is the loudest voice in the room. It is because she is the only voice in the room that treats each flashpoint as a piece of a longer story. Every live is a chapter. Every song is a chapter. Every pop-up is a chapter. And the chapters connect. Am I the drama set the philosophical premise. Imaginary players set the roster of targets. Like what set the tone. AHA set the punchline. And the live we just walked through, the Felicia live, the Horse Tranquilizer live, the I'll talk to y'all later live sets the exit ramp into whatever the next single is going to be. She is not freestyling this. She is running a season. She is showrunning a serialized drama in which she is the lead actress, the head writer, the executive producer, and, if we are being honest, the marketing department. And that is why the industry is scrambling. Because the industry does not know how to compete with a woman who treats hip-hop like serialized television and gossip like a plot device. Rivals are still stuck in the old rules. Drop a record, wait a week, hope for a reaction. Cardi B is running a live narrative operation. She writes the arc, plants the loops, closes some, keeps some open, drops the mic, and lets the internet complete the sentence. Everybody else is playing checkers. She is playing four-dimensional chess with a phone camera and a bathroom light. So where does that leave us? Where does that leave Felicia, whoever she is or however many she turns out to be? Where does that leave Stefon Diggs, standing at the intersection of celebrity romance and NFL headline management? Where does that leave Offset, whose diss track is now buried under a hook that starts with a laugh? Where does that leave the horse tranquilizer faction, whoever Cardi B meant, whoever assumes she meant them? And where does that leave the Barty gang, the fans, the timeline detectives, the DJ ecosystem, the pop-up loyalists, the Washington Heights block that shut down for her a few weeks back, the industry publicists, the podcast panels, and every single one of us who watched a woman with half-done hair change the news cycle in 4 minutes flat? It leaves us waiting. Because if Cardi B follows her own pattern, and she always follows her own pattern, the next chapter is already in the studio. She said it herself. She is going to the studio tomorrow. She wants to surprise somebody. She wants to keep enjoying her summer. There are 5 weeks left before Labor Day weekend. 5 weeks in the Cardi B universe is enough time to release a second single, film a music video, drop a surprise collaboration, headline a New York pop-up, roast 3 rivals, adopt a new nickname for Yandy Smith, throw the party she promised, and log back onto Live to laugh at whoever tried to talk about her in the meantime. 5 weeks is an eternity. 5 weeks is a lifetime. 5 weeks is exactly how long the current opposition has to figure out whether they want to keep pretending they were not the target of AHA. Because make no mistake, they were the target. Every one of them. And Cardi B did not need to name a single one of them for that to be true. Let me back up for a moment, though, because I want to be responsible about how we are reading the room. There is a version of the story in which AHA is nothing more than a summer bop, and the live was nothing more than an unhinged artist celebrating her first single of the year with a glass of something strong. That version exists. That version has its defenders. There are longtime music journalists who will tell you that Cardi B has always talked like this, that she has always name-checked haters on live, that she has always dropped Fear of God lines in the middle of a promotional broadcast. And they're not wrong. But what they are missing is the accumulated weight of the last 12 months. Because in the last 12 months, Cardi B has been through a divorce, a very public breakup rumor cycle, a very public reconciliation rumor cycle, an alleged new relationship with a professional athlete, the birth of a third child, the release of a full-length album, 3 separate touring pop-ups, and a running series of podcast think pieces trying to explain her every move. In that context, AHA is not just a song. It is a manifesto. And the live is not just a live. It is the manifesto's television broadcast. Before we close this out, I want to leave you with something to sit with. When Cardi B said, "You're laughing but no, these are really doing horse tranquilizers type out here," she said it while looking directly into the camera. She said it without smiling. She said it in the exact register a person uses when they know something the rest of the room does not. That register, that specific vocal timbre, that specific slowdown, that specific eye contact is the moment Cardi B stopped being a rapper on Instagram Live and became a witness. She was testifying. She was, in effect, telling her audience that behind the beef, behind the lyrics, behind the memes, there is a much darker layer of what her opposition is actually up to, and if we knew, we would not be laughing anymore. That is not a diss line. That is a warning. And warnings, in the Cardi B ecosystem, always turn out to be foreshadowing. There is precedent for this. Every single time Cardi B has dropped a line like that on live over the last several years, the underlying accusation has eventually surfaced elsewhere, in a leaked text, in a court filing, in a documentary, in a podcast confession, in a delayed news cycle that people forgot to connect back to the original stream. She does not throw wild darts. She previews. She previews the way a network previews a fall lineup. You get a teaser, then you forget about it. Then 6 months later you realize she told you exactly what was going to happen and you were not paying attention. If the horse tranquilizer line follows that pattern, then whatever it turns out to reference is going to break as a full-blown story within the next 2 months. And it is going to break inside a news cycle where Cardi B has already positioned herself as the credible early source. That is not luck. That is architecture. So keep your notifications on, because the next few days are going to be extremely, extremely loud. If Cardi B goes to the studio tomorrow the way she said she would, the whole industry will know by evening. If she throws the party she teased for next week, the whole city will know by morning. If the surprise she referenced turns out to be who half the internet thinks it is, the timeline will not survive the reveal. And if any of the mystery figures she called out on live decide to fire back, the Felicia, the horse tranquilizer faction, the podcast girls, the ghost of Offset's diss track, we already know how Cardi B handles a return volley. She does not punch. She schedules. She does not argue. She releases. She does not lose. She loops. And loops are the operative word here. Because every open question this live left behind is a hook that pulls the audience back to the next broadcast. Who is Felicia? Who is the knees? Who is on the tranquilizers? Who is the surprise studio visit? Who does Cardi B mean when she says these bitches, plural, always unnamed? Every one of those questions is a doorway. Every one of those doorways leads back to another live, another single, another block party in Washington Heights. And every single time the audience walks through one of those doorways, the algorithm ranks the whole ecosystem a little higher. That is how a Bronx-born superstar with a smartphone runs the same platform that eats major label rollouts alive. That is the story. That is the whole story. That is why one 4-minute live from a Bronx-born superstar in a bathroom mirror has, in 24 hours, generated more coverage than most album cycles generate in a year. Because Cardi B, whatever you think of her, whatever side of the internet you woke up on, is now the most operationally sophisticated pop drama architect the culture has produced in a decade. And the single, the era, the punchline, the live, the pop-up, the entire summer of 2026 is the exact reason the numbers keep going up. Before we roll the outro, one more thing. Because there is a piece of the live that people have been overlooking, and it is maybe the most human piece. Cardi B, in the middle of talking about her schedule, said very simply, "I want to make sure my voice is straight. I got to work." And that is easy to skip past. It sounds like a throwaway. But it is not. It is the sound of a woman who is protecting the instrument. It is the sound of a woman who understands that the platform, the beef, the pop-up, the surprise studio visit, the Yancey shout-out, the Lil Kim tour page tag, none of it matters if the voice is not right. Cardi B is one of the very few pop stars still operating with a professional discipline around her actual craft. Everybody else is chasing the meme. She is protecting the vocal cords. That is why she wins. That is why she keeps winning. That is why every she is finished think piece dies inside a week of publication. If you made it this far, you already know what to do. Drop your verdict below. Who do you think Felicia is? Who do you think Cardi B was talking about when she mentioned the surprise studio visit? Who do you think is on the horse tranquilizer end of that shot? And more importantly, if you had to bet money on the next single dropping before summer ends, would you bet on it? Because I would. I would bet everything on it. And I would bet on Cardi B one more time coming back to live in about 3 days with her hair still half done and another sentence engineered to shake the whole internet loose. Because she has done it every single time so far. And there is nothing in her track record, nothing in her scheduling, nothing in her studio patterns, nothing in her behavior across every single rollout of the last 3 years to suggest she is going to stop now. Until then, you already know. Stay locked in. Keep the tab open. Keep the notifications on. Bookmark this channel because the next chapter is going to break here first, and I am not going to explain it twice. Follow the comments because the timeline detectives in the Barty gang tend to figure the puzzles out 3 hours before the mainstream press does. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, under any circumstance, be the woman claiming she saw Cardi B's hair. Because Washington Heights has eyes. Because DJs have phones. Because Yandy Smith has receipts. Because Lil Kim has a tour page. Because is out now. And because Cardi B has just spent the last 4 minutes reminding the entire internet that she is, remains, and intends to keep being the loudest, sharpest, most operationally dangerous voice in the room.